And let's go to my next guest. It's Brian Goodman. Look at you. From Rushford and Sons. We're so excited that we have a brew house in Upton. This is not full, so if you just give me 1 second, I have it chilling, so I have to grab it out of my beer fridge. I got a beer fridge.
Oh, awesome.
Christmas.
Right. While you're getting your beer, I'm just going to tell everybody who's watching. So the story is, Ray pops. So I wasn't even expecting Ray to pop by today. Ray pops by, says, "Hey, Brian, really excited you're coming on the show tonight. So I need some beer. I'm looking for something light. What do you got?" So I'm like, "Well, hey, I got our Bee's Knees, which is our honey blonde, nice, light, crisp, refreshing. I got Grizzly Bear, our light brown, nice, crisp, light, crisp, refreshing. Hey, Brian, let me get the heaviest beer you have in stock, even though I asked for something light." So there you go, Ray. Enjoy, man. It's a great beer. Let me know what you think.
Well, I can't wait. I haven't had a beer in 2 months. I'm doing the keto thing, and then as I'm talking to you and you're describing all the flavors, I'm like, okay, I gotta have the IPA. This is great. Oh, and then after that, you didn't tell everybody that as I was leaving the driveway or the parking lot, I ran over your sandwich sign.
You know, it's funny. You started something because 3 people after you left today ran over the sign, and it's just like, hey, don't worry, you're not the first one to do it. Not a big deal.
I felt so stupid because here I am walking out, I'm getting my beer from the brewery, and I'm like, I'm playing the part of, hey, I'll see you later, man, and great to see you, man. Hey, cheers and beer and all that. And then I drive out. Oh, shit, what did I do?
Hey,
everything was fine.
It's a good story, and like I said, you're the first of 4 people to do it today. So it's amazing that sign is in as good a shape as it's in.
I'm glad I started a trend. That's perfect.
I'm not, but I mean, those worse things. Better the sign than the building, I'll tell you that.
So what was the building before you guys went in there? It's 3 garage doors. 1 garage door is a makeshift bar right now. What was that building before?
Okay, so the way I understand it, I bought the building from the Thompson family, which are hundreds of years in Upton. Upton was, incorporated 1735, something like that. Somebody, I don't know if somebody in the comments can correct me there. 1735. I know the Thompson family originally built the 2-family house on the property back in like the mid 1800s, and then they had Thompson Oil in this building where the brewery is. I think since the 60s, and then that closed down maybe 10 years ago, and they were using this garage to store their boat. So, I mean, don't blame them. Great boat garage. But I bought the property. Last May. Was supposed to do it last March. Yada, yada, yada. 2020 happened. Closed in May. And we are slowly turning it from an old oil company to a brewery. So, yeah, I know, Ray, you saw it today. We got the temporary bar here. Hopefully by September, October-ish, we're going to have the whole outside done, the inside done, and it's going to be a completely different building.
But the important thing is you're serving beer. So no matter what the place looks like, you have your beer for sale. And that's all that really matters.
It makes it look pretty no matter what shape it's in. So.
That's right. Now, the story, tell me about the story, because on paper, it looks like a sitcom. It looks like a great plot line for a sitcom. 3 friends from, 2 brothers and you from childhood open up a brewery, and the hilarity ensues.
I mean, hilarity, I guess that's eye of the beholder, you know what I mean? But so I have 2 partners, Mike, who's the head brewer, and Eric, who's our other childhood best friend. The 3 of us, so actually, ironically, I never was really one of the home brewers. For the last 16 years, it was Mike and Eric that would home brew. For the last 5 years, I told Mike, hey, listen, the beer's getting really good, man. You let me know when you're ready to go pro. Let me know when you're ready to go pro. About, I think it was 2.5, 3 years ago. He's like, yeah, Brian, I think I'm ready. So we started working on our business plan, tried to plan everything out perfectly, do our financial models, our business models, yada, yada, yada. We were actually supposed to sign on the dotted line for a lease on another building in Upton in February. Thankfully, that didn't go through because that could have been a disaster. And March 2020 happened, and all of 2020 happened, and thankfully, again, as much as I would prefer, COVID not to have been a thing, it's actually kind of a silver lining because it really helped us really examine our business plan, really examine what we're going to do, and kind of slowly roll up and ramp up to the brewery. And then, again, by fall 2021, it's going to be kind of pretty gosh darn close to its final form. And, I can't wait. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but
No, this is great. I'm glad you're excited because we're all excited. You must have made the rounds and checked out what everybody else was doing. I mean, being fans of beer, I'm sure you've already been to these places, Craft Roots and 67. So many great breweries in the area. I don't know, what's the closest one to you? Because you are set in a very unique area where there's not a ton for this kind of option around you.
Yeah. So here in Upton, it's great because I think, there's nothing within like 12, 15 minutes. I mean, I know we got Startline and Hopkinton. Those guys are awesome. I mean, Craft, which I always mentioned, those ladies do a great job. We got Cold Harbor up in Westboro. That Juice Freak is just such a good IPA. And but the nice thing is what we're really situated for is a town where Upton, I mean, there's some really great restaurants here. I mean, you got Red Rock, you got Rose Garden, you got 118. And Joanne, thank you. Appreciate that. I mean, you got some great restaurants in town, but there's really not like a really good kind of more modern, centrally located hangouts. So having the brewery here in the Upton downtown business district, I think we're really gonna in a great position, in a great community to really have a great spot for people to hang out, have some great beer that's trying to do something a little bit different than the closest other breweries are trying to do. And if nothing else, we're going to have a kick-ass bar. Part of my language. I don't know, Ray. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's good.
The language, but have a really great place to kind of hang out and good vibes, good times, and great beer.
That's awesome. You are on it's Grove Street, right?
Yeah, Grove Street. Kind of. I mean, we can see Town Hall from here, and
you're right behind Nevermind Shop. Right behind the Nevermind Shop.
Yeah, right behind the Nevermind Shop. Yeah.
Yeah. And lots of space, so I can envision your outdoor seating area. Will that be the whole parking lot, or because you need parking, obviously? So what are your plans for the outside? Let's see if it's the same in my head.
Yeah, no, Ray. The nice thing is we don't need a lot of parking. We're going to have 6 spots, kind of right up front, and those are going to be striped out. This is all going to happen the next 2 weeks. That parking lot, you came today. That parking lot's going to look wildly different 2 weeks from now. Where you have a nice kind of concrete barrier. Now, originally we were going to do Jersey barriers, but thankfully Lisa, my sister-in-law, and my manager, she found this great product it looks like a concrete wall. It's textured. It's all recycled concrete. Love the fact that it's recycled material. We're going to essentially do a wheel stop barrier between the parking lot and the seating area. Little over 2/3 of our existing parking lot is going to be seating. So we're going to have 9 tables with 4 to 6 seats per table. We're going to have food trucks every weekend because right now with the COVID restrictions, we can't serve anybody who hasn't purchased food prepared on the premises, and anybody who's gone to a brewery to sit down and have a draft in the last 6-9 months. Probably is familiar with this. You need to buy food prepared on the premises in order to sit down and have a beer. I mean, a lot of discussion that could happen on that, but it is what it is. So we're going to have food trucks here. We're going to be starting April 17th. We're going to be open for outdoor seating and food trucks Saturdays and Sundays. So the Saturday, the April 17th, we're going to be open noon to 8. Normally, we're going to be open 11 to 8. But Saturday the 17th, I have my investors come in 11 to noon so we can mess up all of our new systems on them and then hopefully have an hour to work out some of the bugs. So when the public comes, we can be as efficient as possible, help everybody have a good time.
I love the fact that the food truck culture has now merged with the craft drink and craft beer culture as well. And maybe that's one good thing that came out of this pandemic is that need for food on the property because I think it's just as creative. A food truck that's serving something local and fresh is a great complement to drinking local beer and fresh beer.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I mean, it's the same kind of thing. It's there's not a lot, there's no Starbucks food trucks. You know what I mean? The food trucks that we're having in are all locally owned. You're probably going to have the owner or somebody related to the owner working on the truck when you come here, when the trucks are here serving. So it's people who, much like us, who are really, I mean, if we wanted to be rich, we'd be investment bankers, but we wanted to have fun. So we're opening up a brewery during a once in a 100-year pandemic. So again, we're doing it because we have a passion for it. And anybody who's working on a food truck also is a local business owner who has a passion for what they're doing. And also, I mean, great food and great beer, thousands of years has been a thing. So, we're going to have, great Our opening weekend, we have Kith and Kin. They're out of Hudson, and they're awesome. Just great new American food. I know they do a lot with duck and duck fat. They got duck fat fries on their menu, which if you guys, anybody out there, if you haven't had duck fat fries, you're going to say, like, oh, Brian, that can't be that much better. Like, no, it's that much better. They're awesome. And then Sunday the 18th, I got Say Cheese out of Worcester.
Love Say Cheese.
They're so good. And I tell you, a couple weeks ago, I had like a half an hour conversation with Terry, the lady that owns the place. She is awesome. Like, I just want to be best friends with her, but I can't wait to eat the food. I actually haven't eaten their food yet. My wife's eaten there a couple times at their food truck, and she's really pumped for them.
It's funny. I met her once, and then I friended her on Facebook, and I think I felt like I could talk to her more often. She's very approachable, don't get me wrong, but after a while, it was like, I think I'm bugging her because I just thought I want to be friends with you, Terry.
Yeah, she's got that personality. We're like, wow, you're just like an awesome person, and the helps if the food's really good and like the cheese is awesome. Yeah. I see, Don. I see you say Cousins Lobster Truck. I haven't approached them yet. A lot of people have told me to. I know. So, Townline Dairy farm on the other side of Upton. The guy who owns that place, Johnny Lindquist, awesome guy. He actually picks up our spent grain. So when we make beer at the end of a brew day, we've got hundreds of pounds of grain, wet grain. That, like, what are we going to do with? We just would chuck it in the trash. So the prevailing wisdom for breweries is you find a farmer who can take the grain and feed it to their livestock. So the guy who runs Upton Townline Dairy, he picks it up. Yeah, he picks it up and feeds it to his livestock. And I know he has in his store, he's got Cousins Lobster Truck who comes down relatively frequently. So I am going to reach out to them at some point, but I know they're already in Upton and they already have a venue. So I really want to, as much as they're great, and I've had Cousins before, I really want to bring new food trucks who haven't been in Upton yet, who are going to give you something different than is been around or is around.
I went to Townline for the first time about 5-6 months ago. I was blown away by what they offer. It's amazing. So the whole point is just support local businesses like yourself, local businesses like Townline. They advertise with my FM, the station I work at, and just fantastic people over there. All right. So tell me what is going to be a little different. You had mentioned, and I think, every brewery opens and they're going to be a little different than everybody else because you want to offer something new and fresh. So what is it about Rushford and Sons that's going to be a little different from the other guy down the street or 13, 14 miles away?
Yeah, awesome. So right now, as everybody knows, and it's true here too, everybody loves IPAs. What you're drinking, what I'm drinking right now. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Great. Glad to hear it. Again, so not to get too sidetracked, Ray. Again, what you're drinking is Shippo the Line, which is our new British IPA. Yep. So unlike a lot of New England IPAs, which are very juicy and thick, or West Coast IPAs, which are very piney, the British IPA, it has traditional British and English hops, specifically Kent Goldings and Fuggles hops, which are going to be a little bit more earthy and have to be a little bit more rounded. So it's, and again, Ray, you're actively drinking that one. You can tell me. It's very smooth. It's still very hop forward, but a little bit earthier than something like, well, this is the Gibba. This is our New England IPA, which it's interesting. So I was drinking, I have another friend of mine who dropped off some Treehouse double IPAs today, which are Treehouse, of course, makes some of, if not the best juicy New England IPAs in the world. And drinking that next to the Gippa, which is our juicy New England IPA, it's a really interesting story. Nobody wants to spend the next 2 hours hearing me talk, compare and contrast them, and talks about what makes the Treehouse great, what makes ours great, and why they're different. But like I'm starting to fall asleep just thinking about it. But most importantly, IPAs are super popular. We have 2 IPAs on the menu. They're great. We love them. But there's other types of beer besides IPAs. And a lot of people say, hell, I really want to be into craft beer, but I'm not into IPAs. And a lot of places really focus on those IPAs because they're delicious, because they're very popular. But there's other kinds of beer that are very popular. And really our standouts, we do a lot of traditionally UK style beers, English pub beers, our Irish Stout. The Honey Blonde is still technically an American style, but it also, definitely has, that kind of easy drinking pub beer kind of roots. And that's really what we focus on. It's not necessarily, the heavy 8%, sit down and think about it like it's a cigar kind of beer. Our beers are really, have 2 or 3, have fun with your friends, and really, conversation starters and conversation lubricants, so to speak. Very, again, more traditional English and European pub style beers rather than the new American heavy IPAs, which again, we're going to be doing that. You're always going to be able to get some interesting IPAs here, but it's not our sole focus. We want to do some really drinkable stuff and also some weird stuff. So we got our next small batch beer, which we're going to do 2 barrels of it a year, and that's it. We have our Lumberjack that's going to be coming out. That's going to be a spruce ale flavored by spruce tips, which is, again, very early American style ale. When they really didn't have hops here, but, got to pasteurize that water and drink it somehow. So instead of hops, they use spruce. We're still going to be hopping it, but it's going to be it's going to be kind of weird and out there. And then we're going to be doing later in the spring, early summer, we're going to be doing a Kolsch, which Kolsch style, pardon me. It's only a Kolsch if it's brewed in Cologne, Germany, but Kolsch style, which is going to be a lighter, more summery beer, which I can't wait for because it's one of my favorite styles. But
yeah,
we want to do a lot of different kind of more malt forward European styles rather than the super heavy hop forward American styles.
That's great. I mean, you got to offer an option to people, and that's going to be your thing. This British Indian this IPA from, see, I've already had too much of it already. You warned me too. You did. Anyway, so drinking this, I feel like I am in an English pub. If I close my eyes, I'm sitting at a bar. Now, I have never been in an English pub, but I've seen enough Edgar Wright movies to be able to picture it. This is amazing. It's really good, but it's very refined. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm not drinking the juicy IPA we're so used to, which is okay. I feel like I've upped my game a little bit with this one.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, and those juicy IPAs are great. This, again, I'm drinking the Gippa, which is our juicy IPA. I had whatever, I don't know. I had a buddy of mine bring me a bunch of Treehouse double IPAs today. So I had one of those. Again, delicious, very juicy IPA, very different beer than the traditional British IPA.
I love it. Awesome. All right. So two weeks from now, you will be open for outside entertainment. Oh, speaking of entertainment, will you have entertainment eventually? What do you think?
You know what? Yes, eventually. I'm pretty sure it's different permitting. So thankfully, the town of Upton has been awesome to work with. We've had to jump through all the hoops. We've had to, pay all the fees and fill out all the license forms, but they have been really great in terms of expediting those forms, getting things approved, getting those public hearings scheduled, and making sure we can kind of open on time and serve people. And the town of Upton really gets it, but I still haven't filled out the permits for live performances. Eventually, I would love to have some kid with an acoustic guitar playing the hits every weekend because, it goes with beer garden, just like, barbecue or grilled cheese, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's perfect fit here. It's just, got to work it in when we can.
Yeah.
We've had to, believe me, like I said, getting this business going over the course of the last year, man, it's been a blast. I've lost sleep. I've cried a lot. I've laughed a lot. Wouldn't recommend, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
There you go. Oh, how many musicians have contacted you so far? Right? You're laughing. Yeah. See, I do a lot of music promotion in town. And when you do want to do something, please let me know, because I know all the acoustic acts that are worth having at a brewery.
You're my first call, man.
But I know that every one of them also called you already and said, when are you doing live music?
Yeah. And my response to every single one of them is like, that is an awesome question. Stay in touch.
When you let me know. Hey, Brian, thank you so much. It was great to meet you today. And I'm glad I didn't.
Guys, man, thank you so much for stopping by.
Well, and we'll be back again real soon. 2 weeks from now is the opening. What date is that? Do you know the date on that?
Yep, April 7th. Oh, believe me. April 17th. Noon to 8. We'll be here all day.
All right. Awesome. Brian, take care, and I'll see you real soon.
Ray, real pleasure. Thanks for the invite. Hope to see you again soon.
Cheers.
Enjoy. Cheers.
Bye-bye.